Nigga saying, oh, we just gotta spend time. We just gotta spend time.
What's up, everyone, and thanks for dropping by. And welcome to the breakdown for the first episode of the 2021 Shaman King anime. Man, I am so hyped. I have been a huge fan of the manga since I was a kid. Not so much a fan of the 4Kids anime though. So I'm glad to see Shaman King receive a proper adaptation. This time around it's being animated by Bridge Studios, and they did an amazing job. The animation is a little bit more reminiscent of the original manga art style, and there are some changes to the direction of the story, but it won't be that big of a deal if you're just now getting into the series. I'll give my opinions on it while discussing the episode in particular. So let's hop straight in. So the first scene takes place in Izumo, Japan in the year 1985. And I'm going to explain the scene with as little detail as I can, simply for the fact that we are not supposed to be receiving this information this early in the series. Kinda hard to go into detail without actually spoiling what happens later in the story, especially with information revolving around that of the main antagonist, or I should say one of the best villains in shonen. So we have this dim lit room of a family discussing the fate of two twins that are about to be born. An evil soul is about to be reincarnated with the birth of one of the twins. An evil so threatening that the family is deciding to kill both twins because they can't identify which of the twins evil will be reincarnated into. As soon as the first twin is born, Grandpa readies himself to dispose of it. See, this scene is already too dark, and I don't like that it's shown this early within the series. But anyway, the family fails miserably to get rid of the baby, because the evil soul reincarnated into it is too powerful. Two experienced shamans get murked by a baby. So you can already get the idea of how powerful this evil soul is. The evil incarnate then announces that one day he will come back to reclaim his other half, which is the other twin. Fast forward 13 years later, we receive the scene that marks the true beginning of the Shaman King series in the manga. We are introduced to Manta Oyamada, who is running late to his destination. He knows his way around Tokyo, Japan, so he decides to take a shortcut through Funbar Hill Cemetery. There, he bumps into a strange teenager, just chilling out, looking at the stars. The stranger then invites Manta to watch the stars with him. And to be honest, I would be a little uneasy too if a stranger asked me to watch the stars with him at a damn cemetery. The stranger asks him to join us though, as in more than one person with him. And in a blink of an eye, Manta sees the appearance of multiple ghosts at the cemetery, which freaks the hell out of him like it would any other normal person. Fast forward the next day at school, and we see Manta trying to explain to his classmates what he saw the previous night. And of course they won't believe him because they don't have the awareness level to see them. This is actually the first time for Manta seeing them too. The teacher walks in and everybody takes their seat. He then introduces a new student in an ironic, hilarious fashion. It turns out to be the person Manta saw the previous night. His jaw literally drops. And to add insult to injury, the person denies even seeing Manta last night. So this person's name is Yo Asakura. He is the main character. This guy is in my top 10 list of favorite shonen main characters, along with Yuma from World Trigger and Beat from Beat the Vandal Buster. What y'all know about Beat the Vandal Buster though? That's OG. So as far as Yo's characters go, the man is the embodiment of inner peace. After the school day ends, Manta decides to stalk Yo. To prove that he isn't crazy, he knows he saw a ghost that night. And to his surprise, he finds out that Yo just lazes around all day, staring at the clouds, from sunup to sundown. Eventually, Manta cracks and reveals his position. Yo apologizes for lying to him earlier about being able to see ghosts. Yo really can't disclose his ability to see and communicate with ghosts, but confides in Manta because Manta can as well. Yo then explains to Manta that he came to Japan to continue his training as a shaman. Shamans are the link between the physical world and the non-physical world, aka the fourth dimension. On a realistic note, not too many people refer to it as the fourth dimension. We usually call it the afterlife or heaven. In truth, it is the realm of the non-physical, where people and animals exist in the form as pure mind. Shamans have the ability to physically manifest aspects of that non-physical realm. It's a concept that not too many people believe in, but I am from New Orleans, Louisiana. We have voodoo masters down there, which are basically different variations of shamans. Voodoo masters are greatly misunderstood though, because most people think they'll just put a curse on you. When yeah, to some extent, that is one of their abilities, but mainly they practice witch doctor medicine and communicating with the afterlife. Shamans still exist today throughout many different cultures and societies. So with that little lesson out of the way, Yo asks Manta about the samurai spirit Amidamaru who resides at the Funbari Hill Cemetery. He later visits a museum to look at an ancient sword and sees a ghost sitting above the display case. Yo asks the ghost what is it that he's mourning about that isn't allowing him to pass on. The ghost is surprised that Yo can see him and explains that he is the swordsmith named Mosuke and that he can't move on because he killed his friend. Yo then asks for the details. Later that night at the train station, Manta is talking to himself and is pretty envious of Yo's chill lifestyle because Manta is constantly studying for reasons I'm not going to get into yet. He wonders what Yo is doing at the moment and decides to visit the Funbari Hill Cemetery. And instead of finding Yo, we're introduced to Wooden Sword Ryu and his gang. So Ryu and his gang travel from spot to spot looking for a place to call home, or as they call it, the best place. But I like how it's referred to in the manga, the happy place. As to why they decided on the cemetery being their next happy place, I really don't know. Ryu himself is another important character. He may be an annoying street thug now, but I promise he'll grow on you. Ryu and his gang are really just hoodlums looking for a place to call home. You know, the trap, the spot. But at their core, they're really just misunderstood. So B-Boy, one of Ryu's crew, explains to Ryu that the tombstone he just knocked over belonged to the legendary samurai Amidamaru, who is infamous for slaughtering a ton of people in one night long ago. Ryu, not giving a damn, smashes the tombstone in pieces with a wooden sword. A pretty impressive feat, but still disrespectful nonetheless. Manta, who is hiding behind the group of delinquents, knocks over a can and gets discovered. Yeah, Ryu doesn't like strangers stumbling onto what he claims is his happy place. So, they decide to beat the crap out of him. The next day at school, Yo finds out what happens to Manta and drags him back to the cemetery to get revenge. But not only for Manta, but for Amidamaru's tombstone that was destroyed as well. The ghost of Amidamaru is pretty pissed. Ryu sends out his goons to get rid of Yo and Manta, not knowing Amidamaru is near Yo because they can't see ghosts. And here's when we get to see one of the true abilities of a shaman. Through a process known as integration, as it's called in the manga, Yo is able to transform Amidamaru into spirit ball form, and then insert Amidamaru's soul into his own. Another tad bit of knowledge for you guys. The soul and the mind are pretty much the same thing. So think of it as two minds becoming one. Once fused together, Yo has access to all of Amidamaru's samurai abilities. And with these samurai abilities, Yo takes out Ryu's goons in a flash. And the animation of the soul integration technique was done beautifully. I loved it. Ryu gets pissed and decides to take matters into his own hands and attack Yo. And with grace, Yo manages to step right in front of Ryu and lops off that ridiculous pompadour hairstyle that he has. And Ryu faints from shock. I don't think it was because of Yo's abilities, but rather that his haircut got ruined. It's pretty funny. His crew picks him up and then carries him off somewhere, with Ryu still in shock. Yo then asks Amidamaru to be his ghost partner. But Amidamaru refuses, because he's waiting on his best friend, and he has been waiting at that spot for 600 years. Yo already knows who Amidamaru is waiting on. It's the swordsmith Mosuke. We then cut to a flashback centered around the final moments of Mosuke and Amidamaru. They were both hired by a feudal lord due to their talents, with Amidamaru being a highly skilled samurai and Mosuke being a highly skilled swordsman. Mosuke creates a very high quality sword for Lord Scumbag here. Lord Scumbag loves the sword so much that he orders Amidamaru to kill his own best friend so that another sword cannot be made. Ain't that some shit? Amidamaru later informs Mosuke of what Lord Scumbag is planning, and they try to devise a plan to run away together. Amidamaru insists that Mosuke run away, because as a samurai it would be shame to turn his back on his feudal lord, no matter how evil and scummy he is. Mosuke tells Amidamaru to just give him one day to reforge the Harusame into a better blade, a sword that will far surpass what he made for the feudal lord. But somehow their plan gets leaked, and the evil feudal lord sends out his army to kill Mosuke before he can even keep that promise. To avenge his fallen friend, Amidamaru wipes out almost the entire army. Amidamaru died during that battle and became a legend. Cutting back to the present, Yo presents Harusame to Amidamaru and explains that he integrated with Mosuke to reforge the sword. Mosuke decided to move on to the afterlife. He still felt as if he wasn't ready to face Amidamaru again after the events of 600 years in the past. Amidamaru is still a ghost, so he can't physically grab the sword. Instead, he takes the spirit of Harusame itself. This tad bit was not in the original manga to my knowledge, but still, it was an amazing piece of detail to add to the anime. I loved it. And with that, Amidamaru decides to become Yo's ghost partner. We cut to the last scene and see another shaman with his ghost partner looking over at Yo. It seems he's really interested in Amidamaru. Can't blame the guy. And that is it for the breakdown of episode 1. So if you have read the manga, you will probably see that the first couple of chapters was condensed into the first episode. It makes the pacing a little bit faster, but it's not that bad in my opinion. The first episode overall was amazing. 52 episodes have been confirmed for the entire reboot, with the first 12 episodes already having confirmed release dates. I intend to try and cover each episode weekly, so like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Magnolia signing out. Peace.
We just gotta spend time with each other. I swear I never ever leave you for another. Don't fuck with fakes on no motherfucking busters. They play with you, I swear I keep my fucking cutter. I don't talk stupid, nigga, I done stutter. These niggas play with me.